then what's this? Oh, this is Slack. This is some other document. Ah, SRFX. All right. I was trying to see if it starts working on this end, and then we're gonna do a random date selection. I was trying to see if it starts, and after we do the random date selection, then we're gonna start our simulation here. Um, all right, so let's bring my screen here. Let me see which tab I want to bring on. All right, this is fine. All right, so only got one window open here. Maybe close this. This. Perfect. Go to our random date generator, and we will generate a date between January 2019 till January 2020. All right. We're going to start with Sundays only because, we're going to start from the week start. So we're going to do this and then we're going to select our dates. Let's go for 10 dates so we have more choices. Also, let me bring around the background music so that, like I really like background music. I don't know about you guys, but background music is fun. Okay, perfect. So get dates. Let's get these dates here. Ooh, wow, we got a lot of dates here, a lot of months. Um, let's see, which month should we go with here? April, August. Good morning, May. Okay, May. Oh, May is my birthday. Okay, let's go with May. May I have my birthday is coming soon here, so you want to get ready for gifts. 20th May is my birthday. Bring this back over here. All right. So we shall start with, what date was that? That was May 12th. May 12th. So we're gonna do GJ. One of my favorites, GJ. 2019, May 12th. We're gonna start with 5,000. New York close. Leverage, we're gonna go with 1 to 500. Initial history in a chart, we're gonna go with 150. So we see 150 days here. All right, perfect. 12th May and GJ, and we're good to go. I'm a Taurus. Yes, I'm a Taurus. So you get this box here. From this box, what you got to do is you have to load up your chart. So we're going to load up our charts here from the weekly, and then we're going to go to daily, and then the 4-hour. $15. Do we need 5 minutes? No, I don't think so. I don't think we need 5 minutes. Yeah, we don't need 5 minutes. Okay. 15, 30, 1, 4, daily, weekly. Perfect. So we got our time frames right here, right? So we're going to close this. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to remove these EMAs because, we're trying to trade with, without indicators here. So we're going to remove these EMAs. This is the 1-hour chart. So we're going to remove it from here. This is the 4-hour chart. Remove it. This is the daily chart. Remove it from here. This is the weekly chart. We're going to remove it from here as well. Perfect. So you've got it removed. So basically, this is where the market opens, right? So it's Sunday time, market opens with a gap. Some people look at this, they're like, oh yeah, so we're going to trade the gap over here. But if you look at the spread is pretty high. It's like 8 pips, 9 pips spread. So trading gaps is no fun. I mean, so if we have a gap here, so now let's try to study this, right? So like, market open here, simulation started, we have a gap. Let's take a look at how these gaps work. So if we zoom in, you're looking to see that this gap, like the candle here, it broke below this support around here, it broke below support down here too. So these areas are going to be respected as resistances for price to continue down. So let's see what happens in the next bar here. Let's go to the 1 hour and kind of like see what happens. Yeah, see, so it's respecting this area as resistance. So mind you, this is also 9 p.m. Eastern, right? If it breaks back up, there's a high possibility it's going to continue going up. So see, it's breaking and closing above the area. So it's a high probability to go up or whatever. Okay. So what we're going to do is basically on the simulation, we're going to go to a time when I personally wake up. That's going to be pre-New York. And from there, we're going to continue on to see if we can take some trade or like, you know, we can like, if we can kind of like do something here. Perfect. All right. So let's go to, this is 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and 6 a.m. Perfect. So we are at 6 a.m. right now. Okay. From what we see at 6 a.m. right now is that on the 1 hour chart, let's start with the daily here, right? Start with the daily. Okay. So daily seems like daily is bearish, right? So if you look at this bearish candle, daily came down, closed over here. It closed at like support. So we're going to draw a line here. So in this simulation, I'm going to be risking 2% per trade. I'm going to be risking 2% per trade. So we're going to change our risk percentage here to 2%. All right, so daily is basically set of support. We don't know what's going on here. I mean, it could go down. It could kind of like, you know, like go up. So we're not sure. So we drew a support. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a resistance here. This is just like a visual aid to tell me, okay, what's going on. So daily is probably ranging between 142, 530 and 143, 200, which is like almost, how big is this? This is a 70 pip range, right? So we're going to go to the 4 hour chart. And what we see on the 4 hour, let me just scale this out. Perfect. So that's scaled out. So what we see on the 4 hour, we have to be very, I'd say, what's the word? Meticulous? Yeah, we have to be very meticulous of what's happening, right? So obviously we have a resistance here on the 4 hour chart. But since the 4 hour is very strong, what we're looking at is that we're looking to see that, okay, 4 hour before this gap happened here, 4 hour was creating a support. Look at this doji candle, look at this bullish candle, and then look at this bullish candle, right? Price went up. So this is probably some sort of a support being formed in the 4 hours. If we draw a support like this, right? And then now what we see is that since this was support formed, and since we had a bullish 4 hour candle, which stopped, and then we had a bearish 4 hour candle that also stopped in this area. So maybe 142,800 is a strong area, you know, because before we had support formed, now we kind of have resistance formed. This 4 hour candle, if you look at the time here, it started like an hour ago, you know. So if the previous 4 hour candle respected this area as resistance, now understand this, right? Now we're trying to visualize what may happen. Then maybe this current 4 hour candle, it may go bearish as long as it respects the high of the previous 4 hour candle because it found resistance. Make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the same resistance on the 1 hour chart. So we're going to copy this over to the 1 hour chart. Go to the 1 hour chart. See, it's copied now. So 1 hour has some sort of a resistance here. So if you go to the 30-minute, we have the same resistance here on the 30-minute chart. So at this point, we cannot take a buy and we cannot take a sell because there is no confirmation for a sell because candles are bullish, and there's no confirmation for a buy because we are at resistance. Make sense? So basically, we just have to wait. We have to wait for this resistance to break so we can continue heading up towards this area here. Let's see what's this on the 1 hour chart. Yeah, that would make sense to go up if it breaks resistance. But if it breaks support, let's make our support. So we have a support right here, right? We have our support right over here. This is a 25 pip range. And if we break below support, probably gonna head down toward. So now we're looking at bearish targets as well, because we have a bullish target. If price breaks resistance, it might come up to, retest this area around 143, 100. But if we break support, then there's a very, very high chance we're going to come down to fill these wicks. Because the thing is, once you see price heading bearish and there are wicks to the left, those wicks become destinations. If price starts to break this resistance and starts to go up, then you start looking at these wicks as rejections. Very simple concept: rejections and destinations. So basically, we're just waiting for this 30-minute to close, or maybe the 15-minute to close here on this 1 hour chart to see what happens, because price is at resistance, so we're waiting. So the 15-minute candle is about to close. 15-minute candle closed right now, and it closed a bearish candle right here. But we want to see a 30-minute candle closing bearish to take a sell, so we will wait. The 30-minute candle is about to close in 8 minutes. Oh wow, it's closing sort of bullish. Interesting. And perfect. 30-minute candle closed bearish, but it's not a very strong close. It's not a very strong close. It's a very weak close. So we're waiting. We're waiting for the 1 hour candle to close now. Or if the 30-minute candle closes above this resistance here, then we'll see, okay, if we have some sort of a confirmation to take a sell. So we're going to wait. Overall, we're going to wait to see how the 1 hour candle closes, which is going to close in 15 minutes. Because right now, this 30-minute candle is very volatile. It's volatile because it broke the high and it broke the low, so we're not really sure. All right, so this is going. Okay, so we got a little bit of a time over here. We got 6 minutes, 4 minutes left. And we have a close right now. Perfect. So we have this close, right? So let's see what's happening here. So what's happening here on the 1 hour chart is that we are closing at resistance. We haven't broken resistance. So this is where things get interesting now, right? So since you look at the time, right? This time is around 7 a.m. Eastern. This is 1400 hours, but this is 7 a.m. Eastern. Now, if you believe that price is going to go up, this candle has to break the high of the previous candle. If this candle breaks the high of the previous candle, then there's a very, very high chance price is going to continue making higher highs and higher lows, and we will see a move going up. So at this time, we're planning our trade, right? Because the previous candle made a higher low, made a higher high than the previous candle. So if this next one makes a higher low and a higher high to go up, perfect. We can take a buy, have a stop below the low, and we can have a great day. But if for some reason, if this current candle breaks the low of the previous candle, then there's a very high chance price will continue going down. And once it breaks the low, we will execute a sell. I will execute a sell, and the stop loss is going to be off the high of this current candle. So we shall wait once it breaks the low, because if this candle breaks the low of the previous candle, then there's a high chance it's going to create a lower low and a lower high. Because we're at resistance. Price has been consolidating since London, since Asian, basically, since market open. So it has to move one way, right? So now we're expecting a volume push. So we're probably going to wait to see how this price reacts to the low of the previous candle. It's coming down slowly. If it comes down to the low right there, we're going to execute a sell. It's going to be a 2% risk. But the main thing is it has to break the high or the low, because right now, the 15-minute candle has closed. Look at this. It's ranging, but it needs to break the low. It hasn't broken the high or the low yet. So Oh, it's not recording, by the way. Now it's recording. Okay, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the simulation for this Sunday simulation. And so we're gonna simulate this. Actually, the start has been recorded. The start is recorded. Don't worry. Okay. So, all right. So we're just gonna wait for it to break the low or the high. Yeah. So it's being run on YouTube. So I'm gonna download it from there and upload it. It's gonna be removed from YouTube anyway. All right. So we're coming down, we're about to break the low. Once it starts to break the low, there's a high chance it's going to continue going down, right? Because here's a small lesson. For price to go down, it needs to make lower highs and lower lows. We've done this all the time. And candles are no different. When candles are going down, they will make lower highs and lower lows, right? So if this current candle breaks the low of the previous candle, then there's a high chance the next candles are going to start making lower highs and lower lows, right? So now we're hunting the trade right now. All right. So we're going to use some sort of a dynamic risk here, like multiple positions and whatnot. Oh, perfect. So see this? The low has been broken. So our system, well, my brain says now I can execute a sell, and my stop is going to be above this current candle, which is going to be around 12 pips. Now, I don't want to put a stop loss just above the candle because of the spread, So you want to put it like a couple pips above the candle. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a like a 12 pip stop. Is it executed? Oh, okay, it's executed. Where's the stop loss? Did it place it? Oh wow, it placed it like 120 pips away. So see, it's at 12 pips right now. All right, it's at 12 pips right now. If price retraces a little bit, might want to enter another position. So just gonna wait. See now, this low has been broken, right? Since this low has been broken, now you start calculating probabilities. What's the probability that price is going to continue moving down since it broke the low? Other than what's the probability that price is gonna continue to go up? So probability of going down is now much higher. Why don't you wait to enter on the top wick of the next candle? Oh, because this is my plan. I'm testing something, so I'm trading based on that. I'm testing impulse entries, but you can enter that candle as well. So this candle is going to close here. It's going to close very soon. The 30-minute candle has also closed, which is perfect. We're running at 8 pips. Right. Awesome. So the 30-minute candle closed. This is the New York Open. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Now, when we look at the 30-minute chart, we have a support right over here. Once this support breaks, price may come down in this area over here too, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the news here, see if we have any news. Oh, some people in YouTube think that we're trading live market right now. Perfect. Okay. This is a 30-minute chart. So basically now one lesson on how to trail your stops. One lesson on how to trail your stops is that basically now you're bringing your stop loss down to the high of the 30-minute candle. Because this price is going to continue down, it has to create lower highs and lower lows. Make sense? Now looking at the 4-hour is rejecting that area. 4-hour has not broken the high of the previous 4-hour candle. So now there's a 100% chance that this 4-hour candle can continue down to fill the wick of the previous 4-hour candle. Because the previous 4-hour candle. So now if we try to be very meticulous about our candles here, what we see is that this 4-hour candle broke below the lows of these 4-hour candles. So this would make sense that this current 4-hour candle is going to continue moving down to fill the wick. That's how you read wick fills. So now you're just putting your trust into the candles to continue on running down and fill the 4-hour wick. So if you look on the 4-hour, This is a, oh shit, it's coming fast. Faster than expected. Perfect. So we are at, oh, what percentage is this? This is 0.3%? How come it's risking? I thought we had, oh, anyway. Stop loss was, oh yeah, my stop loss was 120 pips. Makes sense, makes sense. So the lot size is 0.11. Anyway, so this was the trade here. So probably gonna let it run now. So we broke the low of the 4-hour candle. And so basically, once this 4-hour candle closes, essentially it has created a lower high and a lower low. So now we are at support, right? So let's say someone didn't enter yet, right? Let's say someone didn't enter yet, and someone is saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna wait for a some sort of a like a retracement, and then I'm gonna try to enter. Perfect. So we're gonna wait here. So we're gonna wait to see if we get some sort of a retracement. So for a retracement, let's bring up a 5-minute chart. I don't necessarily advise anyone to do the 5-minute chart. I mean, it's still good, but we're gonna do it for the sake of a entry here. See, the EMAs are curling too, so we're gonna remove EMAs here. We don't want to get into more complications here. All right, perfect. So on the 5-minute, what basically happens on the 5-minute is that the 5-minute, it came down, right? Let me just move this box here. Move it up here. So this was your support, right? Some sort of support area. Price came down, price consolidated here, right? And then we had a big drop down. So now if price is retracing, it should not break the high right over here of this mini resistance. It should not break that high. So if it does not break that high, that means we might see a retest to continue moving down to eventually fill this way. So now if someone's, so now this is where things get complicated, right? This is where someone's going to say, okay, I want to enter, but I don't know how to enter. The best way to enter is to identify how big your stop is going to be. So let's take a look at this. If someone was to enter here, and your stop is going to be up over here, this is going to be 7-pip stop, right? So we're going to do like 7, and then we're going to take a sell, right? 7-pip stop. So now we're expecting this area to hold, and then eventually that's going to make the 15-minute candle here turn bearish, you know? But the candles should not break this high right over here and continue moving down, because this was the consolidation area. Let's bring the 5-minute all the way over here. Now we look at 15-minute, 30-minute. Oh, perfect. We're breaking below the support, which is awesome. This one is running at 10 pips, 12 pips. We're up like 5%, 4%. Probably going to close this 2% position we have running here in 15, 14 pips. Close this and leave that runner running. See how candles are making lower highs and lower lows? Look how the 1-hour candle is now also falling. And if we look on the 4-hour, we have reached this support that we thought price is going to go to. Okay, so this is a 40, almost like a 40 pip, 42 pip trade right now. So probably gonna close a portion of this trade, maybe close percentage. Can't close much, man. I mean, this is just... Actually, let's close the whole thing. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So looking at the daily here, now if you look at the daily, and daily is going bearish, there's a very high chance price might continue moving down. You know, so probably just going to wait to see what happens now. We're reaching at support here, so just going to, you know, it's also like 8 after New York open, so probably just going to call it a day here. Oh wow, broke down even further. Oh wow, still kept going, 80 pips. Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the next New York session here and see what we can find in the next New York session. We're up 4% so far. All right. So one mistake people make is that they will look at charts all the time, and the best thing to do is to not look at the chart, because if you're looking at the charts, you're seeing potential moves, you're seeing potential entries, and those are very bad for your trading psychology. So you see prices moving here, so these are all your potential trades, right? So we're gonna go to the time when we come to the charts. It's at 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6 a.m. Eastern. Now we are at 6 a.m. Eastern. So looking at the wow, daily actually came down to that support. Wow, what a move on the daily. Jesus, 150 pips. Perfect. So looking at the 4 hour, now if we just look at the 4 hour, and this is the New York, pre-New York we're coming into, we're probably going to remove all this here. Delete. 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 Perfect. So looking at the 4 hour, seems like we might be creating some sort of a resistance here. And then we might be creating some sort of a support down over here, right? This is what it seems like. We're creating a resistance, and then we're creating some sort of support. So now let's clone this onto the 1 hour chart, and we're going to try to see if we can find a trade on a 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Okay, so we have the 1 hour information right over here. So far, what's happening is that we have a support formed right over here, and we have, yep, basically that's it. We have a support formed. So now, if price breaks this resistance here, so now you have to look at two things, right? You have to look to see where do you have support and where do you have resistance on the 1 hour chart. You have a support down here. If price breaks the support, where are we heading? So you're going to say, okay, well, probably we're going to head down to this area here, 141,400. And this is a 40 pip range. So maybe within this 40 pip range, we can get maybe 25 pips. If price breaks resistance, where are we heading? Well, we might head over back up to, let's say, this area here, right? Because if you look left, you see this support. So maybe price is going to come up there, and this is what, 34 pips away, and within this 34 pips we might get like some little pips. So that's what we're going to focus on right now. So let's go to a 30-minute chart. Let's copy these over to 30-minute chart, and let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. So 30-minute is just ranging so far. There's no trade. We're in a range. When price is ranging, you can, because if you take a sell here, this is your target down here, like 12, 14 pips. Not enough, like you need a bigger range. You need at least a, I'd say like a 30 to 40 pip range to get the proper trade. So if you look at the time, the candles are moving. The 30-minute candle is about to close. The 30-minute candle is bullish. I mean, the candles are printing side by side. That means there's a range here. So probably gonna wait. We're gonna wait to see what. Okay, 30-minute candle closed. 30-minute candle closed bullish. We can't take a buy because we're at resistance. We can't take a sell because candle has closed bullish. Which pair is this? Someone asked. Which pair is this? It's hard to view the prices. I think either you're blind or something's going on, man. Something's happening there. Because you see, it says right over here, GBP JPY. I don't know. Or maybe it's too early in the morning on a Sunday. Crazy. Alright, so the 1 hour candle is about to close in 7 minutes here, and we're going to wait for it to close and see what we can do. 30-minute candle is closing bearish. Okay, there we go. We have the 1 hour candle close. 1 hour candle closed bullish. So 1 hour candle closed bullish. We don't know whether it's going to go up because there's resistance, so we can't take a buy. The 30-minute candle closed a weak bearish candle. Doesn't mean we can take a sell because it's a weak bearish candle, so we gotta wait more. Why you only look to catch 10-20 pips, not 60 to 80? Yes, I scalp. And I tend to look for like 10-15 pips every day, and that's about it. If a runner runs, perfect. Like our last position ran for like 40 pips from up here to down here on 42 pips. So basically back to chart. So the 15 minutes, see now the 15 minute is rejecting that area. Let's take a look at the 4 hour real quick here. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour, the 4 hour bias is bearish. You know, the 4 hour kind of came down. So this is where you're creating your bias now, right? So 4 hour broke this support, came down, went up. Maybe it's creating some sort of a fucking, some sort of, sorry language, some sort of a resistance here to continue moving down. So if it was to move down, what's going to be the easiest place where 4 hour can come down to? Maybe this wick fill right over here. Maybe that's the area where 4 hour candle is more prone to come down. You know, even though it broke the high, but we're not going to look at that because we're looking at the smaller time frames, and we're looking to see if the smaller time frames are closing in our directions. That's all what we're looking for, right? So the 4 hour bias is bearish. So I guess it's safe to say we can look for sells. I mean, you know, it's like a simple break and retest. Can't be any harder than that. So we're waiting for a candle to close here. The 30-minute candle is forming. It's about to close. If it closes a healthy bearish candle, might be looking to take a sell, anticipating volume to continue price moving down. Okay, perfect. So we are closing right over here. Well, my son is having a bad day in the background, so we're going to try to ignore that. So perfect. So 30-minute candle has closed like this. The 1 hour candle hasn't closed yet. It's still ranging. It's still ranging. Someone wants to sell, not really looking for a sell, might want to do something like this. Okay, let's do this here. All right, let's zoom in here on the candles here. Zoomed in on the candles. So we're going to look to see if we can take a sell, have a stop below here, because if we're looking at candles, you know, we're looking at candles how they're making lower highs and lower lows. You know, so basically a good stop loss is going to be above the previous 30-minute candle, because if you're anticipating candles to continue down, you're anticipating candles to continue on making lower highs and lower lows. So that's what we're going to do. Probably going to have a 8 pip stop right over here and let it sell. And once the 1 hour candle starts going bearish, then we might be heading into taking another sell with some more stronger confirmation. But this confirmation is solely based on the fact that the 30-minute candle closed 30-minute candle closed bearish, the previous one, and this current candle should not break the high of the previous candle if it was to go bearish. So that's all what we're going to look for. So see prices continuing up. So what we're going to do is probably going to take another entry here with the same stop loss. Just going to be 5 pip stop here because it's above the 30-minute candle, right? All right. All right, the 15-minute candle is closing. The 30-minute candle is still open. So, oh, wow, we got stopped out. Interesting, interesting. So that was our first attempt at those entries. You know, so now looking back, this was not a good entry because, you know, this entry was taken before the 1 hour candles closed. So probably gonna wait over here. See, it's starting to come down now, and the 1 hour candle is about to close. So we're gonna wait for the 1 hour candle to close. It's gonna close in 3, 2, 1. There we go. 1 hour candle has closed. 1 hour candle has closed bearish. This is the last 1 hour of the 4 hour chart. You were also in an uptrend on the 1 hour. No, 1 hour is ranging, right? So this is the last 1 hour candle on the 4 hour chart. So if you look on the 4 hour still has a very bearish bias. You know, I think we were too impulse in taking entries. So I do think that we will continue to move down because the 4 hour is bearish. Daily only went up when the candle started. So based on the 4 hour bearish wick fill, I think this could be another better entry with the stop being above the 1 hour candle, because look at this. We've been ranging since Asian session, right? We've been ranging since Asian session for like how many hours? For 10 hours we've been ranging. We range Asian session, London session, New York session. This is the New York Open session, and there has to be some sort of volume coming in. We took one attempt at a sell, it didn't work, so now we're going to give our second and the last attempt at the sell. So it's going to be like a 13 pip stop over here, because we're taking this off the 1 hour chart. Let's do this, and then we're going to kind of like, make the candles a little bigger, because man, on MetaTrader it's really hard. Perfect. So we're going to place a stop here at 13 pips. 13. Perfect. So this last 1 hour of the 4 hour chart candle should continue moving price down. There hasn't been much volume in the price, so I think this is when the volume is going to come into the market, because this is New York Open, and New York Open usually has amazing pushes. So since price is moving now, it's breaking the support. Oh wow, okay, perfect. It's breaking supports. Let's go to our trades here. We are up 24 pips. Probably close this position and maybe close a percentage of this position. Close 50%. Close 0.5. Put stops at break even and let it run. Perfect. Right. So now we're breaking support and it's continued to go. Yeah, I think we had a pretty good trade. So the bias was the same, and we executed. So the 15-minute candle is about to close. 15-minute candle broke the support. Probably gonna, let's see if we can get like, oh wow, look at that. See if we can get some sort of a retracement, because to take another entry, because usually GJ, it just continues moving without any retest. That's what I've learned about GJ. Here's a 30-minute. Yeah, I think 5-minute made some sort of consolidation here to continue moving. Well, I guess it's gone now. Wow, look at that. So it's probably coming down to this support right here. Right over here. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to see if we can form a support over here to take a buy, right? Right? Because if you've missed this trade, you would want to see a retracement and then a continued move down, right? So that's what you would want to see. So we're going to see if we find a support here for price to go up. So we're probably going to close our trade, probably going to close my trade at, oh wow, 40 pips. Okay. Close this trade here. Let the candles form. Let's forward the candles here a bit, because price is going down. Price is going down. Can't take a sell now because move has already happened. So if we're looking at the 4 hour chart, 4 hour did fill the wick. It's coming down. There's a 1 hour support here. So we're probably gonna wait to see. Okay, perfect. We're moving down. Let's go to the next candle, and let's go to the next candle here. Perfect. This is a 30-minute candle close. So see, we can't take a buy yet because it's not very nice. It's messy. So probably going to go to the 1 hour chart, wait for this 1 hour candle to close, go to the next chart. Perfect. 1 hour candle has closed bullish, right? So this is where how you take like where you see that, okay, a support has been formed. So basically what you're doing now, you're looking left. You see, okay, last time price came up here, there was a bullish candle on the 1 hour, and the next one continued to go up. So now price came down here again. Price closed bullish. Now you're saying, okay, since I missed this sell, what's the probability that the next candle is going to continue to go up? Someone tell me. Is the probability high or is it a low probability? Yeah, it's a high probability. Had a little delayed in responses, but we all came to the same conclusion. It's a high probability because the 1 hour candle is closing bullish, right? So now, if you want to take a buy, you're basically looking for a stop, right? Your stop is going to be below the 1 hour candle, right over here, around 17 pips. Let's do 17 pips and go for a 1-to-1, maybe 17 pips, because this whole range is around 27 pips. You know, this is 27 pips. So now we're only looking at this from a 1 hour perspective. That's it. Only 1 hour perspective, right? So this is like when candle closed bullish. Now the next one should continue bullish as well, respecting the low of the previous 1 hour candle. So we're going to take a look at this at like 1-to-1 trade here. In other news, this 30-minute candle, all right, take a look at this, right? This 30-minute candle closed like a doji. So this is like a write-off candle. This 30-minute candle. This candle doesn't exist because it opened and closed at the same level. Probably do something like this, you know, because that candle opened and closed at the same level. So I disregard that candle and I base the current candle off of the one previous to doji candle. You know, it's starting to move up. It's going to continue to make high highs and higher lows. It's about to close in 10 minutes. You can see here on the left hand side the time running at like 21 minutes now to 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left, and we're about to close. We're moving up high. We're up like 4 or 5 pips, maybe something. You know, price is still moving. We're up still 6, 7 pips, 5 pips. We got 5 minutes left for the 30-minute candle to close, and let's speed it up here a little bit. See if we can get the close. And actually, let's just forward it. Perfect. Close like this. Let's take a look here. Bullish, right? It closed bullish here as well, the 30-minute candle. The 1-minute candle is still open. It hasn't closed yet. So we don't know whether it's going to close bullish or it's going to close bearish. So we go to 30-minute candle and we're like, okay, since this 30-minute candle has closed bullish, the next one, if it's going up to make a retest, the next one should respect this low and make another higher high and a higher low. Right? So don't you think this is a better opportunity to take another buy? I think so. Like a, you know, maybe like a 9-pip stop. And there we go, 9 pips, so easy. 9-pip stop. And maybe bring this stop loss over here now. You know, we're trailing the stops now. Right? So, I mean, it's just easy. So now you're expecting this candle to continue on to fill this wick over here and continue moving bullish. And once it fills that wick and breaks it, we're probably going to close the position, then call it a day and come back the next. Oh, perfect. See, we're breaking. That's perfect. So probably going to close this right over here. Probably put this at break even. So remember, this position was like around, like, you know, 17 pips. So probably going to close this here too. Since we've got the move that we were looking for, close it. Perfect. See, it's not that hard. Two trades. Took 2 trades in this day. Awesome. So let's forward the candles here and oh, perfect. Look at this. So now if someone, this is where simulation, it becomes really taxing on your mindset. You know, this is where, yeah, exactly. Someone said sells, perfect. But we're not trading at this time. But this does look like a really good sell because price came down, broke support. This is the retest now. This is the retest has been done. Resistance has been formed. And if you're trading at this time, you can expect the next candle to go down. So let's take a look at this. Perfect. See, came down. Perfect retest. But we weren't trading at this time. I'm only trading pre-New York. So let's move to the next New York session. All right. So we are moving. We're grooving. Grooving to the next New York session. This is 4 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern. We are at 6 a.m. Eastern right now. You know, and when we come to this chart at 6 a.m. Eastern, wake up in the morning, what we see is that price is going bearish. So let's start off from the weekly here, shall we? Weekly has come down. Look at the number of trades we've taken in this weekly candle. The daily is coming down. So now we need to see, okay, where can daily go down to? Maybe daily is going to come down to this area here, 146.22. Because if you look left, this is an area where price has rejected before, so there's a very high chance price might come into this area. So we're going to draw a visual zone here to see, okay, we might come down here. And now we're going to go over to the 4-hour chart. Actually, let's copy this over to the 4-hour chart. Copy it. Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, now when we look left, it's a no man's land. So we're probably going to be looking for some sort of a market structure formed here in 30-minute or 15-minute or something, because right now we cannot take a sell, because if we take a sell, our stop is going to be really big. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. Let's go kind of like zoom out here a little bit. So if we take a sell, our stop is going to be way too big. So we want to see some sort of a retracement happening, because when we can see a retracement happen, then we'll be able to take some trades, right? So let's go to the 1-hour chart and let's start it, and let's see, where we at. It's the 30-minute and this is the 1 hour. Perfect. So now we're just waiting. One-hour candle is heading up. 30-minute candle, 1-hour candle. Yeah, I think basically we're just looking to see some sort of resistance forming on the 15-minute or something like that, so that we know that, okay, we can take a sell. Because right now there's nothing. I think that 15-minute was the case, but still waiting. Still waiting on this 1 hour. Can you show weekly? Yep, weekly. Just take a visual picture of the weekly. Because this weekly, just take a visual picture of the weekly, take a visual picture of the daily, take a visual picture of the 4 hour. They're all bearish, I mean, the trend is bearish, bias is bearish, so we're looking for a bearish move here, right? So far, price is retracing, which is good, so we're just going to wait. We shall wait and see how we can enter a sell here. See, the 30-minute is coming back up, which is good. So we want a resistance formed at this level so that we know where our stop loss is going to be, right? Makes sense. All right, we are heading bullish. And this candle is about to close. This is a 30-minute candle. It's about to close in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome close. So now we have closed right here. So for price to continue going up, we would need to see candles closing above 141,200, right? For price to continue down, we would want to see this area respected as resistance, right? That's what we're going to try to look for. We want a resistance formed, because if we have a resistance formed, that resistance is going to be our stop loss. So if we look to the 15-minute chart, see if we have some confirmations, we have a candle closing in our direction, right? So since I've been trading for a long time, since I've traded this a lot of times, now what's going to happen is that maybe I can look at this 15-minute candle and say that, okay, maybe if this 15-minute candle closed bearish, this was the wick formed on the 30-minute chart, right? On the 30-minute candle. So maybe this is a sign that a candle might start to head down. So might start to look at it as a selling opportunity. It's going to be 8. Let's do a 10 pip stock here. 10, right? All right. Let's play this. So basically, in a perfect scenario, we're waiting for a 30-minute candle to close bearish, right? Because what you have here is you have a support formed, and then this could be a potential resistance forming here. So if you have a bearish candle forming on a 30-minute chart, that will give you the indication that, okay, we have a bearish candle forming, which will make it a higher probability for the next candle to continue down, and that will be our selling trade. And once we break this low, we're eventually going to come down to 146.22, which is the overall target. And it's a Wednesday as well, so Wednesday are like very high volatile days. All right, so Our entry is already in. The 30-minute candle is about to close in 3, 2, 1. 30-minute candle closed bearish. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. 15-minute also closed bearish. So now this is going to be a perfect time to enter a sell in the anticipation that we will come down to retest this low. And if there's momentum, we might break this low, right? But the trade is going to be down to this low over here. So we're going to measure our stop loss. Our stop loss is going to be, this is like 10 pips away. We're probably going to put it at like 12 pips because we want to put it like a couple of pips above the candle, right? So if we're expecting price to continue down, we're expecting price to make lower highs and lower lows. So probably going to do a sell over here. And yeah, just let it run because now the 30-minute has closed bearish, which means the 30-minute has closed in our direction, which means now the bus is starting to head down. You know, so as we come close to the low here, we're probably going to take some percentage off of our positions and let it run. So there we go. We've approached a low. We're going to go to our trades. It's like 10 pips, whatever. Probably going to, let's close this 14 pip trade and let's bring our stop loss down over here above the high of this current candle. Perfect. Right? If price breaks this low, so see price has broken that low, so now we're going to put our stops at break even. Awesome. We're heading further down. So what we're going to do now is probably going to close a percentage of the position here. Probably close like, what's 13? 7? 0. Actually, let's close one lot and leave 30-cent lots running here. So if you look on the 1-hour chart, price is continuing down, which is good. We have a runner running. Price is actually coming down where we thought it's going to come down to the 4-hour. You see here, it's coming down to the 4-hour. Awesome. Perfect trade. Right? This is where we're in a trade in a live stream and we're just like, oh, wow, man, so nice. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Weekly has approached that area. There's no news, no GBP news here, which is good. Oh, I guess some news is coming on. Yeah, news is coming on. USD retail sales news. Let's see what's going to happen here. USD retail sales. Oh, wow. I guess it pushed it down more. Perfect. So probably going to close entire positions here, like 52 pips. That was a runner. Runner ran 52 pips. And yeah. Oh, shit. Kept dropping. Perfect. So this was a break and retest trade. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next New York session. Right. Oh, wow. Look at that. Damn. Look at that rejection. Strong ass rejection from that area. Alright. So we're going to go to the next New York session. Let me get a bite of this apple. I'm eating apples. Okay. Let's go to the pause this and 30 minutes. This is 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6 a.m. Eastern. So first of all, what we got to do is we have to remove all these objects here because these objects are getting in the way. So we're going to remove these objects and we're going to do clean analysis here again. This is what I do every day. We're going to do a clean analysis of this chart. Perfect. Right. So, starting with the daily, we've reached some sort of a support here. And what's going on now on the 4-hour is that on the 4-hour, we might be creating some sort of a like a consolidation area here on the 4-hour, right? So what we have on the 4-hour is basically a support and probably a resistance on the 4-hour. If we break this resistance, we might want to head off to retest this wick around 141, 140, which is like 30 pips away. If we break below, then obviously, then we're going to continue to go down. So we're going to clone these on the 1-hour chart. Oh, didn't get cloned, eh? Okay, perfect. There we go. So now we are on the 1-hour chart now, right? So 1-hour chart is ranging. Obviously, again, we are in a range. We don't know what's happening other than the fact that we are just ranging. So maybe remove this and create a zone based on the 1-hour, which is going to be, somewhere over here. Because now when I'm creating this zone, I'm keeping in mind like price rejected here, the consolidation here. So this whole thing is a range. This is a resistance. We have a support. How big is this range? This is a 30 pip range. I mean, it gets pretty tricky to trade here. So probably going to wait to see if this range breaks. Let's check the news. There's nothing going on. So yeah, I mean, just going to wait. Wait to see if something happens. $30-minute here. Yeah, 30-minute is also ranging. It gets pretty hard when things are ranging. See, if someone was to try to trade within the 30-minute chart, you could possibly take a trade once, because there's a resistance being formed here, right? So now if we're looking at it holistically, price did create a low right here. Someone is asking, this one should flip bullish, no? Since past two dojis. Why? Why would this flip bullish? We don't know where it's going to flip. Past two doji, but still at resistance, man. Come on. Come on. We're at resistance right now. We don't know whether it's going to flip bullish or bearish until it flips. So, okay, perfect. So, what I was looking at was that since price made a low right here, came up, created some sort of a resistance, there might be a way we could take a sell coming down here, because it becomes like a, yeah, exactly, Juan, perfect. Price made a low, come up, resistance has formed, resistance did not break, a candle did not break resistance, so there's an 80% chance that is going to, so let's take a look. So this is like a 12 pip stop, the range is around 22, 23 pips. Potentially we could take a sell there. 12 pip stop, take a sell, let's monitor this. Let's see what happens here. Perfect. Price is coming down. Candle broke the low. 7, 10 pips. 9 pips. Probably gonna put a stops at break even. Take out percentage. Because that's my plan, right? And yeah, let the rest run. Perfect. 30-minute candle closed bearish as well. And now we have a runner running. If this runner continues down to retest the low, perfect. If not, then we tried. So now we are at 1-to-1 risk reward here, secured profits, letting this runner run. This candle's about to close in 2 minutes. It closed like this. 1-hour candle also closed bearish, which means there's a high probability for the next 1-hour candle to continue down. So, I mean, I'm probably going to close this here since we're reaching the low. Close this right here. Perfect. Easy trade. Awesome. So this is a Thursday. Took one trade, waited 2 hours. Oh, I actually waited 1.5 hours. Can you do multi-time frame with soft 4 FX? Well, what is this then? This is multi-time frame. God damn, man. What kind of questions are these? Can you do multi? That's a funny question. Jesus. All right, let's go to the next New York session here. Let's forward the candles. Oh, wow. Yeah, we just ranged here. See how on the 1 hour chart now, price came down, making lower highs, lower lows, and then it went back up again, making higher highs and higher lows, you know? So let's go to the next New York session here. Let's see if you can find something more. If you can find a trade. All right, this is a Friday, and we're gonna keep it like low on Friday. We're not gonna try to take any necessary risks. So 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6 a.m. Eastern. So right now we are at 6 a.m. Eastern. So looking at 6 a.m. Eastern, do you think we are heading down or we are heading up? Just this one question. Are we bullish or bearish? Bearish, down. Perfect. Yep, we're heading down. So we're going to look at the weekly here. Weekly has broken below. Daily has also broken below. So now we look to see that, okay, where can daily come down to? Did Raja go over Asian sessions? No. Only New York. I'm trying to be the best at New York sessions here. So let's take a look here. So basically, if we're coming down, we might come down into this area here, right? Let's go to the 4 hour. Let's bring up our time frames here. Toolbar, time frames. Oh, toolbars, standard. Nope. Toolbars, charts. Yeah, perfect, charts. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to look left on the 4 hour chart and we're going to see if we find some more information. Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. So we are looking left now. This is where the 4 hour candle is currently. It's at this area here. And then there's this big wick going all the way down. So there could be a very, very high chance price might come down into this area here. Right? Price can come down here. Man, never underestimate the power of price moving, especially on GG on a Friday. You know, this wick could get filled. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend this all the way to the right hand side so we have a visual idea where price might come into. So we're going to move it here and maybe do this. Perfect. There you go. Awesome. Very nice. All right, awesome. So we're going to look at a 30-minute here, and we're going to see if we find some sort of a... so awesome, perfect. So what we're going to do is now, we're going to see if we can find some sort of a bearish momentum. Maybe a bearish candle forming over here to take a sell, or if price breaks the low of this bullish candle, then there's a very, very high chance we're going to continue moving down. Makes sense? Wow, that is too far away. Where's this? Oh, we didn't draw it. Okay, perfect. So let me just draw this here. How do we get rid of this? So we have to copy this on all time frames. There we go. We have copied it on all the time frames. Let's go to the 30-minute, 1 hour, and the 30-minute. Perfect. So this is, if price breaks this low, this is like 20, 30 pips away. Oh, seems a lot, but it's not. All right, let's take a look at the 15-minute. If we see any confirmations on the 15-minute chart, probably not right now. So we're going to scale this to fix, maybe draw a visual rectangle here that we need to see some sort of a rejection happening and candles closing in our direction to make sure that, okay, now we're starting to head down. So we're just waiting so far, right? Or We're waiting for this 30-minute low to be broken by a candle, and then we can potentially take a sell going down. So just waiting. 15-minute candle is about to close in 3, 2, 1. 15-minute candle has closed. It has closed a doji candle right here. It's the doji candle close. So we're going to wait for the next 15-minute candle to close. If this one closes bearish, we might have a confirmation to take a sell. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. That is so awesome. So if this starts to break the low of the 15-minute candle, I mean, it just makes sense to take a sell, right? Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, see, now it broke the low. And the 30-minute candle is about to close. So now you can just ask yourself, what are the chances that the 30-minute candle is going to close bearish? If this 30-minute candle closes bearish, there's a very, very high chance the next 30-minute candle is going to continue moving down too. I mean, it's really, really high. You know, so our stop is going to be, obviously it's going to be above the 15-minute candle. Now, if you look at this 15-minute candle in today's market conditions, you're going to see that this is probably going to be like a 40 pip stop. But this is when the volatility wasn't as much, you know, so you got a better stops here. So let's wait for this to close. Oh, wow, man, this is going down. This 30-minute candle is about to close here soon. Perfect. There's a 30-minute candle close. 30-minute candle has broken the low. It has closed bearish. This now means that, okay, now probably we can take another potential sell, right? So let's do this. Let's just say that, okay, what if we had to place a stop all the way up over here, which is going to be like 16 pips, you know, but at the same time, what we can say is that, okay, now we're also anticipating candles to continue going bearish, right? So let's do this here. Let's do it like 15 pips. Let's increase our risk to like 10% risk, you know, because we're so confident. It's a Friday and we want to close strong on a Friday if this is going to be the last trade that we're going to take, right? Let's just do that for a sec. Awesome, perfect. As price starts to go down, as this candle starts to close, we might want to bring our stops down to the low of the 30-minute. Probably going to aim for like 139,600. Yeah, so that's going to be our take profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably modify our take profits. How do you put take profits here, man? Hold on. Interesting. How do you put take profits? Oh, there you go. Let's put our take profit to 139,600. Accept. And put this at 139,600 as well. This is our last trade that we're taking for the simulation. If you want to make a like a cool Instagram story, man, that would be great. Because if this take profit hits, woo, perfect. But if our stop loss hits, then that's another thing. All right, oh, perfect, awesome. So see this, the 30-minute candle closed like a doji candle here, right? Let's just zoom in here a little bit. So the 30-minute candle closed a doji here. So this would mean that we can disregard this doji bullshit candle here. So this was a time-wasting candle. So now we can anticipate this candle. Oh, so now we can anticipate this candle to form based off the previous candle, right? That's what we can do. And we can also anticipate this candle to not break the high of the previous doji candle, which means you can take another, 50% risk trade here. But we're not going to do it because, we already have two positions running here. Awesome. We're moving down. Oh, wow. We're continuing down hard. Damn. That did not even give it a chance. Whew. All right. Retracements. So we're continuing down. We're approaching take profit. We are 137, 139, 750, 139, 750, 139, 700. Can we get 139, 600? 139, 600. Come on, 139, 600. We're coming down to 139, 740, 740, 740. We're going to come down to 139, 700. 139, 700. Candle's about to close. Candle still open. Can we get down to 139, 600? 139, 640, 139, 640, 139, 600, 139, 600. We're coming down to 139, 620, 620, 630, 630. 129, 600. We're coming down. We're kind of like twisting now. For kind of goes, oh, 139, 600. Sold. We have sold. Man, this is hilarious. So let's take a look at this 4 hour, right? So we look at the 4 hour chart. It came straight down to that wick, you know, came straight down to that wick. We started off with 5,000. We ended at like, 7,800, so $2,800 gain. Perfect. See this rejection? Awesome. Hope everyone enjoyed this. The recording is going to be up, and have a great day.